the depths of Chicago, live and direct. It's the Rico No Suave Show, starring Rico No Suave, with co-host Valerie Malesio, featuring special guests every Saturday. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here is Rico No Suave. Ritmo.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to the show. It's your boy Rico No Suave here on a 1-2-1-2. Ready to go with each and every one of you guys. Man, I am so happy to be back each and every week. Every week is different. You know why? It's because you guys are actually tuning in with us. Ya tu sabes, mi gente. Your boy Rico No Suave. Man, Febrero. Man, 5 de Febrero, mi gente. Man, we have made it to February already. So that means that we got one more month until winter is over. I'm so happy. I'm so happy that it's almost over. Man, it's freezing here in Chicago. No matter where you're at, everybody. I heard everybody's freezing right about now. But hey, Chicago is with you no matter where you're at, unless you're over in the Key West or if you're actually in another country that don't have snow at all. We wish we were there with you, right?
And we don't want to hear about it.
Right, and you don't want to hear about it. And the girl that don't want to hear about it, give it up for my girl, Valerie Malesio. What's up, Valerie? How you doing, Valerie?
I'm good. Feliz sábado, mi gente. I know we joke a lot about the weather, but my goodness, it is cold outside.
It is nice and nippy.
Right. You know what, though? Today is one of those trick days. Where you look outside and the sun is so bright and you're like, ooh, it can't be that cold outside, right? And then you walk outside and you're like, woo! They tricked you into it.
Yeah, it's pretty nippy outside, I have to tell you, right? It's pretty nippy. And, you know, one of the things about being nippy is it only lasts just for a little bit, right?
I'm really hoping what you said is true. We got one more month and that's it.
Well, you know, the weather report is coming up, so I do have some good news about that. I won't spoil it right now, but just look forward to the weather report coming up. Yes, my girl Valerie Malesio and your boy Rico No Suave. Yes, we are here every Saturday for each and every one of you guys. Let's get right into our social media, right? The social media, everybody. So, you know, our social media is where you'll find us at www.riconosuaveshow.com. That's where our archive folders and all of that, archive shows, I should say folders. Archive shows. If I give you my folders, we got problems, right? We also have nothing but photos that's out there as well, too. So
folders, photos, you know.
Yes, all that great stuff.
We do have all of our past 8 episodes, though. Lots of good stuff on that site. So if you ever get a chance to go, make some time, check it out. You won't regret it.
That's right. And what she said, we go into the next one, which is our Instagram. Our Instagram is at Rico No Suave Show. That's our official account. Make sure that you actually follow us there at the Rico No Suave Show. That's where we're at. We're building, continuously building as well too. All right, here's the next one. Boom! Yes, we are on Facebook. Once again, everybody, Rico No Suave Show. That's where we're at. That's what we do, right? So make sure if you're going live, you're going live with us right now. All right, here's the next one. Ooh, all of my YouTubers, right? All of my YouTubers out there, right? That love YouTube Live. Yes, so make sure you go to Rico No Suave Show on YouTube. Subscribe, mi gente. Subscribe to our channel. We're continuously building. We need all of the subscribers because we got a lot of content that we're going to be actually pushing out in the near future. And you can also check out our archives there if you're a YouTuber as well. All right, here's our last one. Mixcloud.com. Yes, / Rico No Suave Show. Yes, so that is where we're at, everyone. Hey, that's what we do. Every Saturday, Mixcloud.com / Rico No Suave Show. Hey, it's a free account, just like she said. That's our co-host. Yep. So make sure you go ahead and get that free account at Mixcloud.com / Rico No Suave Show.
You don't want to miss our specials on Mixcloud, so make sure you get that free account.
That's right. All right. So, you know, there is something called breaking news. And, you know, with breaking news, this is kind of a good one. I'm really loving this one because this breaking news is actually kind of a sensitive subject that's been, you know, that we talk on our show a lot. So let's hit that breaking news. Let's go to it. where is that diversity? So where is that diversity that we actually have going on? So if you didn't hear what I said, so welcome to Miami is where he was at. Brian Flores was actually a coach there, but he's also a coach over at the Giants. And if I'm not mistaken, he's over at Buffalo as well too. So with that being said, he lost his job. You know, and when losing your job, it's very sad that people lose their job just in general of something that they really have a passion for, something that they really love, that they really like. And one of the things is that once he got fired, he applied for 2 positions. And actually, I think one of them was the Giants. And I think on the other one, I can't remember. He also applied for the Chicago Bears. But there was another team that he actually applied for as well. And one of the things is that we're going to go to the next slide. Let's go to the next slide here. So, you know, him as a coach, he's very passionate, right? He's very passionate about what he does. And you can definitely tell that he had a stance of what he stood for in regards to him and his teams. Now, of course, hearing that, there is certain things that may trickle down the line of him arguing with the players or he didn't get along with the staff. But according to him, he got along with the staff and he got along with a lot of, you know, the players as well. So there's kind of this mix and match of who said what, who did what, and all of that great stuff. So we go to the next slide. Bill Belichick sent a text message to him by accident. And there's 2 Brians in the NFL. And he actually sent this one to him and saying, hey, congratulations on the Giants interview that you have the job. He said, huh? What? Because he applied for that. He was like, well, huh? And then he's like, yeah, it's very exciting that you actually have that per se, right? And he's like, this is Brian Flores. And he said, OMG, I effed up. And what does that mean? He's like, oh, I'm so sorry about that, man. I messed up. This is meant for Brian Daboll. And Brian Daboll actually got the position as a head coach. And this was kind of like a surprise to Brian Flores. And it really hurts because this type of mistake that actually happens should never happen unless you really know, and especially in the NFL, right? That's just if you're mistaken by whatever actually happened during that time, you have to be careful in regards to who you're texting, right? You have to be careful in regards to what information gets out because that stuff gets leaked out just like that in the NFL or how popular you are. So
he should have waited for it to be announced.
Exactly.
Stop gossiping.
Este bochinche, right? So, and the crazy thing about that is that when that happened, he was like, in my head, why would he say that? And I didn't know that Brian Daboll actually got the job because it wasn't officially announced yet. So let's go to the next slide. So he says, it's time for me to have a lawsuit now. Now I'm actually going to sue the NFL. And once I sue the NFL, I need to make a point of diversity within the NFL. So I'm going to keep this on. I want to keep this one on the screen because this right here, as a person of color or a minority, no matter where you're from, for a gentleman like this that can be of a mixed race, for someone like this that can actually say, hey, there needs to be more. And when they say black coaches, I'm not specifically like with just saying African-American coaches, but I'm talking about any of Latino, black and brown, no matter where you're from, a minority coach, instead of just saying African-American. It's not like I'm against it. It's just to the fact of knowing how sensitive that is when it comes to a diversity within the workplace. because there's a lot of hidden gems of minorities that should actually be taking to that next level.
But you're only scratching the surface, though, because his allegations. I mean, he's
and we got that coming up. Yes, and we have that coming up. There's a lot
more going on than just the lack of diversity in the job perspective. He's claiming a lot of things, which I won't blow that for you guys.
No. So we can go to the next slide. Let's go to the next slide.
He's claiming a lot of, here we are. So his lawsuit says the NFL is segregated and is managed much like a plantation.
Yes.
Miami Dolphins owner offered Flores $100,000 for every defeat during 2019 season. What does that say?
It says a lot. It says a lot.
Flores was pressured to breach tampering rules at Miami. Mm-hmm. The lawsuit alleges the Giants interviewed Flores despite already appointing Brian, is it Dable? Dable? Mm-hmm. Already appointing Brian Dable as head coach. Mm-hmm. So they already interviewed him knowing he wasn't going to get the job.
Right.
Flores claims another sham interview in 2019 by the Broncos, who only shortlisted him to fulfill the Rooney Rule. I'm not familiar with what the Rooney Rule is. Do we know what that is?
So I didn't get too much in regards to what the Rooney Rule was, but what I can say is that there was a lot of people that actually talk about this throughout ESPN. It's something that it's kind of like, if you're interviewing, and if I'm not mistaken, one of the coaches interviewed for only 20 minutes versus he had a 3-hour interview. So maybe that might be part of the Rooney Rule as far as saying, hey, everyone should be interviewed during that same time in regards to that. But
it does. It says that the National Football League policy, it requires the teams to interview ethnic minority candidates for head coaching and senior football operation jobs.
Yes.
So it's along the lines of an affirmative action, even though there's no hiring quota. So they don't have a minimum of how many of different nationalities or ethnic groups that have to be hired.
Yeah.
But they're saying that they have to be interviewed, which is what he's claiming. Yeah. Oh, they interviewed me all right.
Right.
But they interviewed me knowing that I didn't even have an opportunity for this position.
Yeah, so I think for myself, it's more of...
That's so frustrating.
If someone offered you $100,000 for every defeat during 2019, why would you lie about that? There's no reason to lie about something about, hey, he offered me money for every loss that I had in regards to this. And the CEO or the owner, GM, came back and said we did not offer him $100,000 for every defeat as far as that he had. What would be behind that?
Did he take the money?
No.
Offer? Okay,
no.
Okay.
So
that would make for an even interesting.
If he took the money, then he's thirsty. I mean, that's a different story.
I think he would be looking at jail time, or isn't that like?
Yeah, well, it's bribery.
Yeah,
right. It's kind of like a bribery on the other level, right? And I think what happens is that this is a bad thing, and I really don't like this piece in regards to being able to hear that. So, make a long story short, is that diversity within the NFL in regards to coaches of color, it needs more than just, hey, we're doing this as a favor to you. This is more of minorities in general being in the NFL and across other sports as well too, instead of just being a player, but also being someone of leadership as well. So I do want to, commend Brian Flores for actually going through this all the way
coming out with this information.
And a lot of people are backing him up as well too. So, I'm really happy that he actually started this, and I think there's a lot that's involved in regards to this lawsuit, and I really hope that a lot of people support him.
Do you think this is just going to be the first of many?
It's first of many.
You think that it's going to open that door?
Just one person. Just one person to be able to do that. That's all it is. And think about this. This has been probably happening for quite some time. It's not just about a person of, African Americans. This has something to do with minorities. There's black Latinos, there's black Brazilians, there's black everywhere, black Russians. It's across the board. His
last name is Flores. We don't really know at first glance what nationality he is.
And that's the point.
Hopefully this does open the door.
Yes.
And open people's eyes and it moves forward. It's bittersweet because things are it's gonna hit.
Yes.
It's gonna happen. Things are gonna open up. There's gonna be a lot of issues
Yes.
because of this one person.
Yes.
But it's a good thing.
Yes.
We want these things to be worked out.
Oh, of course.
Definitely.
Right. And don't just do it just to say, I'm doing it to make it equal. Do it if the person is actually a leader. If the person is qualified for it, hire the person based off of the qualifications. And also, last point I have to make about this. It's a culture thing with the NFL or anyone of a Caucasian descent or whatsoever, right? I'm comfortable with that person because he's the same color as I am, or the culture that I am, which is biased against other cultures to be able to understand what other cultures are about.
Right.
And what happens is when you start to see what's happening with other cultures outside of you, your eyes will be open instead of saying, I'm so used to having this specific type of culture within the NFL. If you look outside of that and understand what the culture and brotherhood or sisterhood or whatever it is, this makes a big deal within the NFL.
And to add to that, you can't set a precedence that says, because they're quick to recruit you to play.
Yes.
You can be on the team. You can be on the squad. You can play. But we just don't want you in leadership.
Right. See,
we can't do that.
Yes.
And that's ridiculous.
Yes.
So I'm glad this happened. I know that a lot of whatever happens with the NFL, that's what I'm saying about there's going to be, because the NFL is going to now have a magnifying glass even more so on those things. But it needed to happen.
Sean Murphy checking in. What's up, Sean Murphy? Thank you so much for checking in. The question he asked, is head coach caliber still today compared to then? Actually, we do have some NFL players that's actually on right now. We do. Actually, no, we do have some that's actually on right now. So that's a really good question. Is the head coach caliber the same? Well, it really depends on what's happening in regards to, the coaching piece still stays the same in regards to leadership, to be able to lead as far as defensive side as well as the offensive side, and also being able to have that caliber to be able to have that personality with the actual GM. If you're matched up with that, you're good to go. Right. And I think that's going to be really good. So hopefully that little shed some light on that. But I want to thank you guys so much for bearing with it, because this is one of another situation that we love to bring up when it comes to diversity. All right, let's get it on. I got to introduce this guy because I'm excited like always.
Yes.
Oh my God, I'm super excited like always.
And
this gentleman here has been around the world, been around Chicago, playing really, really great music. I love his music. I've listened to him play live. He's very astonishing, and you're going to be able to hear some of his music today because he's going to be playing live with us. But I want you guys, come on, Brazil, stand up. Brazil, stand up. Everybody, I want you guys to put your hands together. Do a little bit of samba dance. If you like Bossa Nova, just sway left and right if you love it, because my man is in the building. His name is Luciano Antonio. Let's go! Yes, Luciano, how are you, Papa?
I'm doing great, man. I'm really honored and proud and really appreciative of being here with you this morning, man.
I love you, man. I love you, bro. Yes. Hey, Luciano, it's been a long time coming for you to be able to, be here with me today. And I think what happens is that, there's so much to talk about, and we're going to get right into it. And like I said before, it is one of the things that touches my heart of listening to Bossa Nova and listen to your music in general. But we got to talk about your journey. We got to talk about it because Brazil's in the house, right?
Yeah,
in the house, baby.
Right.
Brazil. That's on our bucket list.
I know. I was just talking about.
We want to do a show in Brazil.
Yes, we must. We must.
So, any shout outs before we get started? Any shout outs you want to give out to anyone that's out there?
Well, to my dear friends out there, just last night I had some really dear friends that I hadn't seen in a while came out to my gig over at Sabora Café.
Eso.
And Elio, he's my guy. Yeah. And all my friends and fans who've been supporting me all these years, man. some 27 years working around Chicago and 20 years living here. And I'm very grateful for the scene, the music scene here, and all the friendships that I've created and the networks. And I love it. We have to deal with the winter, but I still love Chicago.
We know.
Yeah.
I still love Chicago.
Yes,
love
sir.
Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, I love it when it's summertime. And spring.
And spring and fall.
Yes, sir.
I don't even mind it if it's like nice, fluffy snow. It's just the freezing.
Oh, you like the fluffy. Okay, so I'm going to let you stay here doing the fluffy snow. We can do the show here. I'm going to go to Brazil or go somewhere else.
Yeah, I'll take Brazil any day.
Let's go to O'Hare, man.
Let's go to O'Hare, right?
Fly out.
So let's get right into it. So music is a big deal in Brazil. Big deal in Brazil. So unique. Of course, Spanish influence as well too. But how was music growing up with you? Growing up as a child and teenage years, what was that like?
Well, with me personally, it was a mixture of things. But my family comes from a very humble background, and the music that my parents, my grandparents, my aunts and uncles, they listened to was mostly like folk, country root music, and then the generation of my uncles and aunts, they also expanded into American things like Simon and Garfunkel, and they used to listen to Paul Anka, stuff like that, Johnny Mathis, and the Carpenters was a big one.
The Carpenters.
So I grew up with that, man. My uncle had a car. One time my uncle came to visit my family. I think it was to baptize my sister or something like that.
Okay.
And he used to drive this old Chevy Opala thing. Yeah. And it was a cassette tape, and he let me listen to music in his car throughout the whole afternoon.
All right.
And I did, listening to all these tapes that he had there, and Carpenters was one of them. Until literally I killed his battery. This I must have been around 10 or so.
Okay.
So yeah, influences there. But also when I started, the way that I actually started was this, like first few lessons with my grandmother's neighbor across the street, learned a few chords, and then start playing in church. So that was my first thing that I felt that I had something to give, something to collaborate, to contribute.
Okay.
And it was, playing in church at the very beginning. I couldn't even keep up. I would be unamplified on the side, just trying to chord along with other players and stuff. But it was the first time that I had like a sense of a little purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So that church music, country music, and once I started really learning, and then I got into the hip, bossa nova, jazzy chords. Smooth.
You touched my soul on that.
Yeah, and that's been my life, man. Literally, I mean, I actually. So I started with all of that, and then when I moved from the state of Parana, there where my home state, to Mato Grosso do Sul, another state, Campo Grande, and then there I started classical music, and then I actually only did classical music for the next 12 years or so after that, mainly classical music. Because then I ended up in Kansas City, University of Missouri, Kansas City.
Okay.
And I went to college there and actually studied classical guitar.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So
you were talking about high school years when you first moved. That first move.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah. That was I was about 16 when I moved, and I started learning kind of late. I was almost 15 when I first started learning, and by the time I was like less than 16, I had my first job teaching.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, for for the city, the municipality there, where I was from. So and that lasted about a year, and then I moved to Mato Grosso do Sul, and then over there was a guitar studio, the Villa Lobos guitar studio. And
the Lobos?
Villa Lobos.
Okay.
So my first teacher there, José Maciel. So and then that I dedicated myself to classical guitar for all of that period until I ended up in Kansas City. And then after I moved to Kansas City, in my early 20s, I was about 24. I was living with this drummer. He was a jazz drummer who fell in love with Brazilian music, and he actually had a Brazilian band there. And then I rediscovered the Brazilian jazz thing, with this guy. His name is Doug Allwater, and they have a wonderful band in Kansas City called The Sons of Brazil.
Nice.
Hey, Doug.
Yeah. Hey, Doug. Hey, Doug. Doug Allwater, my man, his family. And so it's funny because I came, like, if you put kind of like in a very contracted, like resumed version of it, it's kind of like I came to Kansas City to study classical guitar, rediscovered my passion for Brazilian music, bossa nova, especially Brazilian jazz, and ended up playing samba and pagode dance music in Chicago.
So right there.
I love it. You can't escape the destiny.
No. So, yeah.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, for many years, for good 13 years or so, I while I was living in Kansas City, most of the years 9 years that I was living in Kansas City, I was flying back and forth, working in Chicago with the Chicago Samba.
Okay,
which was a really hot happening band at the time, and they had like so much work, and they could afford to fly me here every week to perform with them. It was great time.
But samba is big in Chicago. Like it's big enough that when people know where all of the Brazilians come out for the festival, right? It's insane, right? It's insane. I remember Logan Square in the auditorium, they had the Brazilian Fest. And
it's big enough to have
it's huge.
A whole dance culture of it.
Man.
So I mean, it's because the Samba Fest, oof.
It's insane, and I think
great time.
The Samba Fest that's here in William. What is William? My God.
Will from Brazil.
Yes, Will from Brazil. Right, but I tried to say it last night. I couldn't get his last
Carvalho.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, so Will, and we go way back, but because he used to invite me to come out to some of the events as well too. Man, that is
so
awesome.
That was after I worked with them. There was another guy. His stage name was JR.
JR?
Yeah, because his name was Evaldo, but it was Evaldo Jr.
Okay.
So, after my time with them, first it was JR, and then I think they had a couple of females work with them in between, and then William, and he's great, man. He was such an entertainer. He was like 6'7", like
tall, right?
Strong voice. Really great singer. Yeah.
He's definitely. I have to say, he's definitely a great guy. So during the time of you actually, coming up, and also, through the Brazilian life, right, of playing acoustic, but also, did you play electric as well too, or was it only acoustic?
Now, pretty much 99.5% acoustic.
Acoustic, right?
When I was playing with bands and stuff, I did some electric.
Yeah.
But for the most part, and then I settled in to my my touch, just the way my voice and my touch it's very kind of gentle.
Yeah.
And the acoustic guitar is just it's what translates. The best. Yeah.
Is your parents here in Chicago?
My whole family is in Brazil. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I'm the only
So
one.
you're the only one here.
I'm the only one here. Yeah.
It's still a beautiful thing to know how you can go back home to Brazil and still be able to say, I got a place to stay, right?
I'm just going home. Yeah.
Right. That's why I'm so glad to know you.
You owe me a visit.
I do.
In Brazil.
Yes, and I will.
I have a question.
Yes.
Do you
Yes.
feel the music that you play here is true to form, that what you play in Brazil?
I've been out of Brazil for a long time,
Oh, okay.
some 28 years, and many things and waves have come through Brazil. First, the backyard samba movement kind of thing that we call pagode. It was a huge thing for, I think, well over a decade, and then it kind of the music from the Northeast and the forró became mainstream and stuff. And for many of these years, I was working, in the beginning with Chicago Samba, playing dance music. And then I had my own project called the Planeta Azul, which is a carnival dance party music too.
Is that here?
Yeah,
I've heard
Sounds
that
very
It
in
sounds
Chicago.
very familiar.
Yeah. We were very active for some, well over a decade. But in the last few years, starting 2011, I released an album, and I'll try to go back to answer your question. I'm kind of drifting off here, but trying to go back to your question. It is over here. We always have to adjust a little bit, because sometimes you play for an audience that is connected to the music, that's already into the culture of the music. They already got the bug. But a lot of times, I have to try to figure out a way to connect to audiences.
Okay.
So, if it's something like more suburban or out of Chicago, and an audience that is not really familiar with Brazilian music, and I start playing a lot of obscure stuff that they don't know, never heard before, they still appreciate, but you gotta find a point of connection. So, and it's not, I wouldn't call it watered down by any means, but if I start with something that I figure, if I have like an audience that I think it's not, familiar with it, then I try to throw something that's like probably they may have heard,
Like with
one
a familiar
one of the
beat or
more
something.
standards. Like
Yeah.
I usually save the Girl from Ipanema from like mid set, or like if people request it. And it's not that I don't. I love to performing the song. Sometimes I would decide to perform it on my own without any request. But
Nice.
in other words, trying to figure out something to connect. So like sometimes I'll play like just a Beatles song with a bossa nova beat, just to bring the audience in. So true to form, sometimes, yes, when I'm in front of an audience that it's really, I know is already deep into the thing, then, I'll go deep. But then sometimes, it's about reading the audience. And
That's pretty
That's
cool.
I don't know if
great
that
answer.
answers your question.
I mean, it's a great answer because we were talking about this last week with flamenco. So
Yeah.
it's like that sound, not everybody is open to hearing the style of singing. They're like,
Yes.
if you didn't grow up in it. So sometimes it can be challenging to kind of immersion, like,
Sure.
immerse people into it.
Culture.
Yeah, to get them to understand, the roots and where things came from. That was a great answer. I just wondered how you felt from your perspective. Like, I really don't get to play, that rooted music that I grew up with because people over here really don't appreciate it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But you're saying you have had those opportunities. It just depends on the audience.
Right.
So.
But one thing that I've learned over the years too is like, even if I want to go a little deeper and say play the more obscure stuff or the stuff that I'm enjoying at the moment, certain songs or composers, it's just communication. If I talk about the song, give the audience a little sense of what the song's about,
Yes.
a slightly translation, even if it's just the title, and talk a little bit about the composer, it just brings them in, and then they will check out the song. And it's something I
love that when people
I have
do that.
had to learn how to not be because in truth I'm kind of a shy person, which is not a good thing for somebody who makes a living on stage all the time.
But that's not a problem. That's not a problem. It's like when you finish and everybody's performing, it's like, okay, I'll see you later.
Yeah, and then it's like I close myself and go back to talking shy.
And it's not surprising because a lot of people get off stage and there'll be that one shy one in the corner, but on stage they just turn it on. It's just a whole different persona. Anyway, continue.
Yeah,
I love when people explain
being shy.
when people are playing like genres or styles of music that I've not heard before. Yeah. I love that they explain kind of this song, I picked this one because of XYZ, or a little bit about the person who, composed this.
The true form of what you're talking about, which is good, because what is your true form of when you're ready to get on stage to play, right? And the true form comes into play of, I can play some music that was back in my hometown that I remember singing along with my grandma or with my family, and want to introduce that and see how the crowd reacts to it. If the crowd reacts to it really well, then you got it, right? And then you try to do it again, and they might not respond as much, because if they're at Sabor Cafe and they're eating empanadas or todo, right? and then they might not respond the way you want. But you're like, listen, okay, everybody, I know that you guys are eating, but you want to listen to this song. Right. So, I do got to give a big shout out to the from Italy, Rosalie Netti.
Yeah.
Rosalie Netti and the family is checking in. What's up? How's it going, family? I'm coming to see you. We're coming to see you guys because Luciano said that, we're going to follow him to wherever his book is. I was about to say his book bag, whatever.
Get your couch ready. Just get the couch ready, a couple pillows.
That's all we need.
That's all we need.
And Wi-Fi.
Yeah. That's a Wi-Fi.
You will be most welcome to come to Brazil with me one time.
Yes, sir.
That I go visit my family.
Okay.
You will have the amazing experience, the amazing opportunity to experience the love that's my family. I have a family that's incredible. Yeah.
And I think
your family's listening, so
well, from Italy, right? From Italy, yes. Unless
there's others here too.
Luiza.
Let's see, that's my
Maria.
mother.
That's your mom?
That's my mother.
Oh,
yeah.
She's also on.
And oi, mãe. And then this Lourdes is my aunt, and she's
Lourdes
she's
Costa?
Yeah. She's like a aunt / mother too.
Aww.
Yeah. And Rosalie is my aunt in Italy. And
love that.
Yeah.
All right.
They didn't respond though. I was expecting them to say, "Our couch is waiting."
Well, truth of the matter, they're not understanding anything we're talking about.
Okay,
well, you can definitely speak to them a little bit.
We'll just show up. It's fine.
Então, mãe, tias, então, não, quem tá conversando aqui, que eu falei pra ele que ele vai ser muito bem-vindo pra vir um dia comigo no Brasil, visitar minha família e ter essa experiência do amor que é minha família.
Tenemos mucho amor, entonces it's como español también, so you can definitely hear.
Just like told me off right now.
No, he didn't. He was talking about it was nothing but love.
Thank you.
That was awesome. That was awesome. So with music, and we kind of talk about the diversity within the culture of, even if it's from Cuba, Mexico, if it's in Brazil. The one thing that we love, that the different shades of color doesn't matter when you go to these countries. Some countries are like that though, where there's different shades of color in regards to human being, where you can't cross this border if you look like this, right? In Brazil, I never got that feeling, right? In Brazil, like when I see even friends of mine, I never got that feeling of, there's that racism or there's segregation in Brazil. I see that once you go to the island, everybody's the same. That's what I feel.
What I have come across, and the people that I've met from Brazil, because I used to work with some females from there as well.
Let's see what she says.
They're also soft-spoken.
Okay.
They're so soft-spoken.
Okay.
And I remember I asked her, she's like, yeah, I get frustrated sometimes because even if I'm upset, I'm so soft spoken. People don't take me seriously when I'm upset. Right. And she's like, you know, people are a lot louder here.
Right.
When they speak. And I wanted to ask you, I mean, just those were just with the few people that I had met that were from Brazil. They, like you, they're kind of, you know, they're not, their voices are very
más tranquilo, right?
They're real calm. Yeah, like they speak calm.
Yeah, I think it's just the very nature of the language itself.
Yeah,
it's a soft, very soft language.
Yeah. Oh, she made me straighten up. I was like, okay, yeah, I could be soft spoken too. I can be very soft spoken.
You talking about your friend?
My
friend. Your friend. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
You met her. I brought her to one of our events when we taught salsa on Mondays.
Oh, okay.
I worked with her at the Marriott.
Okay.
She's a very beautiful girl, very soft spoken, and a couple of other people that she was with, they all kind of had that same trait. So, just observation.
Culture of Brazil. If someone was to say, you know, that was not aware of the music of Brazil, what would be your description of if they was to step on an island and the first music that they will probably hear, what style of music will people actually hear if they was to step on an island based off of what airport I guess they come in on?
Well, I got to be honest about this. I think that unfortunately, it won't be the best music that we have.
Okay.
You know, and just like here and just like, you know, in most places, you know, the main media just shoves things down people's throats, you know.
Okay.
And trending stuff.
Yeah, and in Brazil, I mean, we got a universe of music going on.
Yes.
But we have, you know, and taste is like a nose.
Yes.
Right? Everybody's got one.
Yes.
But so, you know, I don't like to criticize any styles or anything like that. But what, you know, for my taste, I think there's a lot of bad music.
Wow.
Yeah. You know, Brazil it's such. It had a rich, extremely rich decades of composers and songwriters and poets, and it still has.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like hidden in the background, you know, because of the media pushes, you know, the commercial stuff.
Yeah.
You know, some, you know, some, and especially really, really pushy with lyrics. You know, things that are like, you know, not poetic at all. So, and I'm afraid to say that, you know, off of the airplane, you know, you might hear, you know, stuff that it's not what we have to offer. But
you wouldn't be greeted with that.
Yeah.
When you first get there. Because like when I was in Colombia, the first thing I heard was like, you know, Colombian cumbia, just everywhere. You know, in the lobby of the hotels, you know, to the markets, you know, in the alleys where you go shopping, you know, like those off the grid places. It was just everywhere.
Gotcha.
But when you think of Brazil, like the first thing that came to my mind, like you remember when like lambada came out, like that type of music, like that was huge. But I'm like, is that commercialized Brazil, like, or is that
La Bamba? So.
Lambada.
Oh, my bad. I thought she said la 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 la.
No,
that's what I thought she said. But no, you talking about
before I learned of samba and Brazilian
see.
jazz.
Okay.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
okay.
I'm not very familiar with Brazilian, you know, music, so I didn't know what to think of it.
Yeah. No, I mean, you know, and I mean, there's great stuff going on. You know, I'm very deep into the you know, the world of bossa nova, Brazilian jazz, MPB, which is MPB, which stands for Música Popular Brasileira, you know, popular music of Brazil, so you know, it's just I'm a little older too, you know, so it's like I don't get into the mainstream plays.
That's what I like about you.
A lot of people don't.
No,
though.
but see,
I mean,
a lot of people don't, but a lot of people do.
I think that's generational, though.
Exactly. That's where I was going. Yep. I was kind of going there.
Yeah, and I actually have nothing against it. It's
Right.
like some musics, some types of music, it's like it's not something that I will like download or go buy and play for myself at home.
Right.
But when I'm at a situation at a gathering or kind of an event or something, then I dig it.
Right.
You know, because that's the vibe there, and that's what
Well,
goes.
of course, you were jamming out to Carpenters. I mean, come on. Come on. You've got some diversity going on.
Yeah. But when I was a kid, I had no idea what the lyrics were, and then much later on, after I hadn't heard it for like 30 years, and then I started listening to it again, it was like, oh, interesting. The lyrics, are not as good as I thought what the music would be. It's like, it was cute. It was beautiful. It was just different.
Yeah.
But that speaks to what music does, because you don't have to understand the lyrics to feel music and enjoy music.
Yeah.
I mean, right now with this whole, there's such a K-pop explosion right now going on with all the Korean
K-pop,
pop.
right.
And my kids listen to it all the time. I don't understand I don't understand any of the words that they're talking, but it's good music. And they love it. Same thing with, Brazilian or, with any of the different cultures with their music. Music is its own language in itself.
That's right.
So it communicates even without the words. So
but
I love that.
I haven't answered your question yet because I'm trying to save myself to get into trouble here. But
no, get into trouble. Please get into trouble. It's okay.
and like I said, I like Muslim. But like I said, like in the 90s, there was this big explosion of samba. And it was great. It brought samba out of the backyards of people.
Yep.
But in a way, it commercialized it a little bit.
Yes,
and
sir.
then the same thing happened to, before that, even like the true sertaneja music, which is the folk music, the country music, became commercialized too in the 80s.
Okay.
Not bad. I'm not saying that it became bad music, but became very commercial.
Sure.
Commercialized, and it's still great music. Samba is still great music,
Of course.
but just it brought it to the front.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. And then it happened to the music of the Northeast, the forró. Like in the late 90s, early 2000s. Which. It's just kind of created a different form for it, like you were talking about true form, which is great. It's great. Like if I go out for, on a date or something, and somebody who likes to dance, that dance from the North is great to dance as a couple. It's fun, and I love it.
Right.
Like I said, maybe it's not the type of music that I would buy for myself to listen in my living room, but when I go to a situation where that music is appropriate, I enjoy it thoroughly. And that's what I want to dance to, because the stuff that I listen to at home, I can't dance to.
I like that.
Especially.
So I
for the most part.
I like that you're being honest about it, because sometimes certain music grasps you, certain music, because I'm an underground type person where I'll listen to independent like music of local artists, which is kind of underground where you can appreciate it, right? And then of course the commercial thing. It's just, and it's funny that I said La Bamba, right? It's funny because that's commercialized, but once that hit, everybody knows about the song.
The concept,
right?
yeah.
And the concept
because it was
of
a
right?
folk song
And
that was
and then
brought
people
out.
look up for it in its original form.
Yes, and remaster it, right? But one of the things is that I really like, because it goes into my next question. In regards to feeling the music and how deep you are into the roots of what music is for Brazil, you're a composer of music. You wrote music as well too. So when you were actually writing your music, how did you come up with the idea of a situation to be able to play music for people to be able to hear? The composing piece, where did that come into play?
Well, I write stuff. My first two albums, the whole albums were all originals. It was 2011. I released an album called The Life of an Artist, Vida de Artista, and it's 10 originals, and then about 5 years later, in 2015, I released another album that is all originals. I don't know. It started kind of young. In 16, 15, I was already writing some things. And it's funny because I'm not the writer that is looking to write all the time and create content all the time. It's just like sometimes I go for like long spells, like years without writing nothing.
Yes.
Writing anything. And but I will tell you this. I think a good portion of my writing, maybe more than half of it, it was during painful times.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
When you need that outlet the most.
Yes.
That's okay. It gives you a good story to tell.
Yeah. So like,
lining.
I went through, I went through a divorce in about 2002.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, when you're like so down deep, like hadn't slept for like probably nearly 2 days, and it's already like 4 a.m, and you're so tired you can't function because you can't sleep, you can't really do it, you can't read because you're too tired, and it's like just like sitting, nearly dead on the side of the bed. And it's like just kind of like, almost drooling because, you're just so tired you can't function. Sure. It's like the only thing that I could do at that moment was like write a song.
Yeah.
So this is like 20 years ago. But there are other things. Now, there's one interesting thing to your question, which is when not forced, but like commissioned to do it, which happened to me. I have this really great friend. His name is Miguel De Leon.
Okay.
He's a great guy for you to talk to one day.
Awesome.
He's a lover of Brazilian music. He's a Mexican born here.
Okay.
Yeah, Mexican American.
Okay.
And he commissioned me to write music. He released a CD a couple of years ago. And he had this idea in his head to do a whole album of this figure of the malandro. The malandro is like this, the street smart, the bon vivant, the partier, the womanizer.
What was it called?
Like,
bon vivant.
Bon vivant.
Viva va.
Bon vivant.
Bon vivant. That's I think that's French.
It's like viva?
Bon vivant.
Like the guy who just lives life and parties.
The good time guy.
Yes,
like
the
good
guy.
life. Live the good life.
All right. Okay.
So
I like that.
The bon vivant.
Yeah. So he wanted to record a whole album about the malandro, about this figure.
Nice.
So malandro is the guy who's like, when he goes to parties, he puts like a whole, like the whole suit is all white, with a red shirt and stuff like that. Is the
With all the ladies
the king, the king of the samba scenes, and in the hills of Rio and stuff.
Yeah.
And there are songs like he did 3 covers on the album, but the other 7 songs, 6 of the songs I wrote.
Okay.
And when he approached me about it, I was like, man, I can try. Right. But I, surprisingly, I'm really pleased with the compositions that came out. And he asked me to write a duet that his producer. This was recorded in Rio, by the way.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And he had me come to Rio to produce his vocals.
Okay.
And one of the songs was recorded with a really famous, huge Brazilian singer. Her name is Leila Pinheiro.
Mm-hmm.
So the song is called Tu És. But anyways, it's funny when if I have to create something, and then he put me in the spot a couple of times too, because he's a Christmas guy. He loves Christmas, and he does a Christmas concert every year. And he's like, you gotta write me a Christmas song. I was like, me writing a Christmas song. It's like, really? I don't know if I can, So and it's got to be a samba. Okay. Anyways, he finished recording. So this next Christmas he's gonna release it. It's called Samba de Natal, a Christmas samba. So and then another thing too that he likes to do once a year. He performs a Christmas a Mother's Day concert.
Oh right.
Yeah.
Nice.
So for his Christmas concert, he performs Christmas music from all Latin American stuff like that.
Yeah,
and
so.
I'm his producer. And
That's
then
awesome.
then also Mother's Day concert that he does the same thing. Then he wanted me to write a Mother's Day song or like a song for my mother.
Get sentimental, right?
So I thought, man, that's gonna be hard. But then I did, And it's like,
That's cool. So, it's about 1:00 already. But there's more to talk about, like always with you. And I'm so happy. But I do want to hear you sing. Right? So,
Yes.
one of the things that I love about my guy, Luciano, is, him being able to, come with good energy. One thing that I really love about this gentleman is when I listened to his music, there was this upbeat, this positive vibe that I really love. So one of the things about, that I love about Luciano is knowing that you can be able to feel as if you're in Brazil. Right when he's
They
playing
just
his
take
music.
you away.
It just takes you away.
It's like,
it takes you to a different.
I love that.
To a different area, I should say. Right, and that's what
And
I
you don't
really
even
love
have to
about
buy a
him.
plane ticket.
Right. You definitely want to buy a plane ticket after that, right?
You're gonna want to travel after that.
Yes, exactly. So, one of the things that I want to tell everybody that's out there in the Rico No Suave Show land is that you got to go Brazil, but you got to support this guy, Luciano Antonio. So I want to introduce you guys. I want you guys to take a listen, close your eyes, listen to my guy, Luciano Antonio.
Sabes que vou partir com os olhos rasos d'água e o coração ferido. Quando lembrar de ti, me lembrarei também desse amor proibido, fácil demais. Fui presa, servi de pasto em tua mesa, mas fique certa que jamais terás o meu amor, porque não tens pudor. Fiz de tudo pra evitar o mal, sou pelo mal perseguido, só me faltava era essa. Fui trair meu grande amigo, mas vou limpar a errei, inocente. Sabes que vou partir com os olhos rasos d'água e o coração ferido. Quando lembrar de ti, me lembrarei também desse amor proibido, fácil demais. Fui presa, servi de pasto em tua mesa, mas fique certa que jamais terás o meu amor, porque não tens pudor, só porque não tens pudor, só porque não tens
took me back. You took me back to Brazil, and I wasn't even there. Right? I love that song. Thank you so much for playing that for me, man.
Thank you.
You know, this is a great way to end off the show because really you make us want to hear more of you. So, do you have any events that's actually coming up this year?
Yes. Let's see. Well, I have regular local performances. I've been performing weekly at this incredible new venue called Epiphany Center for the Arts.
Epiphany Center. Okay.
Yeah, it's
and you put that on your website. So we'll put up his social media, right? So we definitely will put that up. So Luciano Antonio. So you'll be able to. Will that information be on your website?
Absolutely. Yeah. On that website, there's a calendar, and it's all listed there. I've been keeping it very up to date lately.
Yes. Yes.
So do it yourself industry. You got to find time for everything.
It definitely is.
Yeah. So there's a great venue there. Sabor Cafe once in a while.
Yeah.
That amazing intimate place there. I haven't lately performed at the Jazz Showcase, but I've been performing there regularly for many years. So some dates coming up there sometime soon. Winters, April 13. I'm going to be at Winters with the amazing guitarist Neil Lauger.
All right.
Yeah.
Nice.
But everything's on the calendar, guys. Visit the webpage, sign up for the email list.
And then your Facebook page as well, too. So we also have your Facebook page as well, Luciano Antonio. So we do have some, I got to give you some accolades here. I got to give you some credit because John T for free, what's happening? He said, yes, he said, I love this guy. And then John Allegretti, Judge John is checking in. Love this guy, beautiful sound. He said, John T for free said, yes, such beautiful music. I feel like I'm drinking my coffee on a fancy foreign patio.
Yeah.
I like that.
Thank you, John.
And
that
my man,
means I did my job.
Justin Sawyer checking in, all of us, NFP, non-for-profit. I love it. And then also we have your family checking in. Paime te amamos. It's like saludos for us, right?
Actually, saudade.
Saudade. What is that?
Saudade, that's the one Portuguese word that has no translation to any other language.
Oh, wow.
Saudade is that feeling that missing. Like missing someone.
Wow. We miss you?
We miss you? Oh, nice. Franca says sensational. And Lara? Neri?
Yes. A cousin.
Assistindo.
Lairda. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. We got some cousins here.
Primos.
We got a whole family reunion
my God.
here.
Do we have time for shout outs?
Sure.
All right, so I'm going to send kisses to my family here.
Okay.
Beijo, let's see. Tia Rose, Heloísa, mãe minha amada, Steve Magnone, hey man. Good to see. Thanks for tuning in. My cousin Heloísa. And Hector Fernandez, thanks for tuning in. Minha prima Dora Neri, tia Lairda, tio França. All right. Tia Lucinda, beijo para todos vocês.
Oh, yes. So I have a shirt for you.
Hey!
Yes, I have a shirt for you.
My Christmas gift is finally here.
Yes.
and birthday.
And birthday, yes. So this right here is not just because you're a good guy, a good friend, but also this means a lot in regards to things that you have done for the world to be able to feel your music, your passion, even through those bad times, right? The passion of being a composer and things like that. You know, we recognize great talent, but we recognize the efforts to be able to get there. And that's one of the things that I've always watched. Even though I wasn't able to get to a lot of the events or just see you on occasional, I felt whatever I felt with that music, I felt it at that time, right? And it always stuck with me, right? So you have always been an artist. I've always wanted to interview you and actually be on my show. And this is a monumental phase for us as the show, but also for me, this is very special. And I want to say welcome to the show.
Thank you.
For
Thank you so much for that beautiful song.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Yes.
That song was by a composer. His name is Cartola. And his music is just magical. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
To the family.
You just really like made my day. Like my
I
day,
know, right?
The rest of my day is just so chill and great. Thanks for that boost of energy because like you really did. Like I love that.
Thank
you. Love that. I want to say thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much for being on the show today. I think today means a lot to all of us here, but also to your family as well in Italy, as well as Brazil, and here in Chicago, and to my people, my fans as well too, and people that just watch the show, that loves the show as well too. My man Sean Perryman, I forgot to say hello to you. Sean Perryman checking in. He went to high school with me, so my high school buddy. So good to see, good to hear from you. So before you leave, there's two things that we're going to talk about, and I don't know if you heard about Skippy. Valerie is going to say a little words in regards to Skippy, but do you like Skippy peanut butter? Have you had Skippy?
I love peanut butter.
You love peanut butter?
Peanut butter and jelly is one of my favorite sandwiches.
Peanut butter and jelly. Peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah.
We love Skippy, crunchy or creamy. So if ever you're in the mood for a nice little peanut buttery treat, grab yourself some Skippy.
That's right. And also, I want to say big shout out to RX Water, right? RX Water. We want to thank you guys so much for supporting the Rico No Suave Show. Thank you guys so much. And continue to support us. And if you haven't had RX Water, check out the alkaline water. It's really, really good. So after a good workout or sweating on stage, drinking some RX water.
Or cleaning snow.
Or cleaning snow, right? So thank you, man. Thank you so much. Hey, it's been great. Thank you so much, Luciano. Thank you so much. Once again, everybody, put your hands together for Luciano Antonio. Yes. All right, man. As we get out of here, it is 1:15. You want to play me some background music as I go?
Absolutely.
All right. So
I'll try to make it as sexy as possible.
nice and sexy. Okay, cool. Here we get some sexy. I want to thank you guys so much for being here on the show with us today with my co-host Valerie Malesio. I do want to give a big shout out to our social media manager, Faye Vanson, and my production crew. Always getting it on, John and Leah. Big shout out to Demetrio. I want to thank you guys so much for being here with us. And don't forget to support us every week on the show as we streaming live here every week, everybody. We love you guys and we appreciate that because this music is getting me flowing. Right? Next week, everyone, make sure you check us out because we're going to have Mr. USA, the bodybuilder, here as he won his championship. And he has so many accolades and so many awards. But I want to thank you guys so much and we'll see you guys next time on the Rico No Suave Show.
Enjoy your weekend.
Thanks once again to the Brazilian family, to the Italy family, and everybody that's around. And we got to end off the show, everybody. We'll see you guys next time. Chess Live Fitness.
Over.